Good afternoon and welcome to the tutorial for double page spread layout. The first thing that we're going to do is open up a new Photoshop document. So go File, New, and you're going to be working from International Paper and you're going to be working from A3. So I'm just going to rename this DPS double page spread A3. Everything's okay there. Here we have, there's our A3 document. The first thing that I'm going to do is just remove the lock from my background. I'm going to drag that down and put that into the bin. The next thing that I would like to do is rotate the canvas. So I go Image, Rotate Canvas, Image Rotation, 90 degrees. So there is my A3 document rotated. The next thing that we're going to look at doing, let me just zoom in by pressing Command and the little plus sign so I can see a little bit clearer. The next thing that we're going to do is we want the rulers to appear on the side because we're going to start mapping out our document. So I'm going to go View and I'm going to tick Show Rulers. And there are the rulers across the top of the page. As you can see, the measurement across the top is 42 centimeters. So we're going to pick the halfway point because it's a double page spread. You probably want an image on the right hand side, 3 columns on this side, a kicker and a headline there, a title there. So go into the ruler, hold and click, so click and hold, drag across, and I'm going to drag it to 21, which is there. That's the halfway point mapped out for us. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to measure out our columns. So my first column, that's 2 centimeters there. My first column wants to be 1 centimeter from the margin. So again, hold and click, and there is 1 centimeter. I would like the top of the text to come down to about there. So I'm imagining already it's going to go about there. So I'm going to drag from the top, the ruler down, and I'm going to go to about, probably there should be okay. So now I want 3 columns in there, 1, 2, 3. And my first column, I would like it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to make it 1, 2, 3, 4 actually. So 4 in width. So I'm going to take it there. Maybe I'm going to be very specific here. I'm going to make it 4.5. To there. So my column's going to fit in there first and foremost. So we need to now create a text box to put the all of your feature article in there. So I'm going to click on the T tool. And I'm going to firstly change the font size. I'm going to change it to 12. I'm going to change the font as well to Arial. And I'm going to draw out a text box here. And if we look at the map if you look at the rulers on the left hand side, I'm not going to go all the way down to the bottom of the page. I'm going to leave about a centimeter from the bottom, maybe a bit more actually. I'll take it to about there. So there's my first kind of column laid out. I need a little bit of text in there now. Before I import the text, I'm going to make sure that the distance between the text, between the lines, is on auto. For some of you it may be a little bit larger, so I'm going to go across here to this little icon here. It's next to this. So this little icon, click it, this appears here. And here, this one is the distance between the line. And at the moment, mine's on auto. But for some of you, you may find that it's on like 72, which means it's a very, very big distance between the lines. And you want to make sure that it's on auto. I'm just going to take a little bit of text for the sake of demonstration now. I'm going to use Rosie's double page spread. And it was an article on skating. And all it is of a case now is copy and pasting the text over and making sure that it fits in the columns. So I've just highlighted a little bit of text. I press Command C and now I press Command V. and there is the text, and for some reason it's in green. I'm going to change that. Command A. Oh, actually, I'll just flip the colours. So now the text is in there, and as you can see, it doesn't quite fit actually. So I would be tweaking this if we had a little bit more time on this. You would start making sure that that text fit exactly, because if I was to scroll down, I would see that it doesn't completely fit in this. So just for the sake of argument then, I'm going to map out another ruler. So as you can see, there's a 0.5 centimetre between where this column ends and there. I'm going to give it a little bit more than that and give it probably a centimetre distance maybe. So I'm going to take my ruler, take it across and take it to there. And then I want the same width of the column, 3 nice uniform, same width across there. So all I'm going to do to make sure it is exactly the same width, I'm going to just duplicate the layer. So I go to this layer and I right click and I say duplicate layer. I'm going to rename it column 2. Okay, so there's column 2, and it is hovering over column 1, or this first column. So we need to make sure we're on the move tool and literally just drag it across there. And make sure it's absolutely in line with the other one, perfectly in line. There you go. And then you have 2 uniform columns that look exactly the same. Obviously, you would then start changing your text. So you would delete what's in that. You would go down, you would copy and paste from that text, delete what's in that text, and then obviously your article continues from there. So we're going to copy and paste this. Before we do that, we want to make sure that the distance is exactly the same again. So another ruler, we're going to drag it across, and we're going to take it to there. And our final column then, so we're going to go on column 2 now, right click, duplicate layer. I'm going to call it column 3 now. And I'm going to go back onto that move tool, make sure that we just move it across. And again, it's perfectly in line. And so there we go. So now you have 3 columns that are exactly the same width. That's absolutely fine. But we've got this little distance here that hasn't quite fit. So my measurements were just slightly off in this demonstration. I think perhaps we could have expanded them maybe a little bit for each column. So maybe you could have gone across to about probably there, and it would be a case of shifting all of the text across to make sure that they were all exactly even. But for the sake of this demonstration, you kind of get where we're going with this one. So we're going to need obviously an image there. We're going to need an image on this side here. Remember, that's your halfway point. We're going to need a headline and we're going to need a kicker. So there's 2 ways of doing your image. For many of you that are doing the fashion magazines, you would probably want an image of a model just there. If you're doing a sporting magazine, like a football magazine, or either a football magazine or a skateboarding magazine, you may want something that looks a little bit like this. This again is Rosie's article, three columns, a kicker, a headline, and it's a wide shot. Skateboarding magazines work well with wide shots, as do football magazines. And obviously I would need page numbers in this as well, but again, you get the idea. So you would then put your headline in on a new text layer, change the size of the font. For the sake of demonstration, I'll call the headline skate. Maybe call it Skate God. Maybe take that down to about 100. Skate God, there we have Skate God. I'm going to just move that across so it fits. Oh, you could possibly change that a little bit depending on how formal you wanted it. I'm going to just make sure that it fits in. Yeah, we want it to fit in, so I'm going to make it 90. And there we have Skate God. And then I'm going to do a new layer with a kicker, probably 3 lines. Can't remember which one I used on the example. So I'll just put just change the size of the font for this. Actually, we'll probably go down to about 30. See what that looks like. So I'll call it. I'll say Skater, Father, Baller, Thad Jarvis. He's my made-up skater. Thad Jarvis opens up about skate life. Skater, Father, Baller, Thad Jarvis opens about skate life in the UK. I think I could have done a little bit better with that, but for the sake of demonstration, it's not too bad. So we've got a title, we've got a kicker, we've got our 3 there, and then we might have a picture across there. I would like you to have a little go at this task. Try and be creative with it. You may want to kind of make the columns a little bit wider, perhaps, so it fits a little bit cleaner there against the side, but you kind of get the idea of where we're going with this one. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll come around and support you throughout the lesson. Cheers.